first and foremost, the documentary and book, yeah. So we're just gonna go through this overall, yeah. All right. So the document. All right. So MRAP mostly commonly refers to true crime documentary. Give me a second, people. All right, give me. I just got to do something real quick. Didn't realize I had to do this. All right, while that loads up. All right, so basically, um, so it's mostly commonly refers to the true crime documentary and book MRAP inside the Biggie and Tupac murder, detailing LAPD investigation into the unsolved homicide of rappers Tupac Shakur and the Notorious B.I.G. based on ex-detective Greg Kading's work. It can also refer to the anyway, you ain't got to do all that, but it's the irony of mentioning Dr. Dre. That's another day for another situation. So the documentary. So yeah, I here's the thing. Yeah, hold on. Let's just use this AI mode for a second. Sometimes you can't rely on AI, but just for the timeline so people can understand. All right. So you could say, when was the documentary and book released? Yeah, that's the first thing. So, all right. So the book was released in September 2011. The documentary was released in 2000. It says 2000 and it says 2015 practically. Let's just say 2015. Yeah, but well, yeah, 2015 in America. That's all I remember. All right. But either way, 2015, 2016, 2016. So, all right, cool. Watch this, yeah? Boom. I need you to look at the maths, the timeline. So when did Greg Kading retire? He retired in June 2010, right? So look, after his retirement, he published the book Rap in 2011 and started a private investigation firm. All right, cool. That's fine. Start your own private firm. That's cool. Whatever. All right. Now, watch this. When did Biggie's mom sue LAPD, and for how much, and what was the result? It's very important we understand this information before we dive deep into the documentary and understand it, because Greg Kading, he was in the documentary. He's acting as if he solved the case in regards to Tupac. All right, cool, whatever. Yeah, let's see. We're going to find out something. Fernando Wallace and the family of Christopher Notorious B.I.G. Wallace first filed the wrongful deed lawsuit against Los Angeles Police Department and the city of Los Angeles in April 2002. The suit alleged the corrupt LAPD officers were involved in the and that the department covered up the evidence. Now, so the initial filing, and mistrial. So the first trial case went to court in 2005, but ended in a mistrial. We won't get into all of this yet. The sanctions awarded result of failure to disclose evidence. Presiding Judge Florence Marie Cooper ordered the city of Los Angeles to pay the Wallace family $1.1 million in legal fees as a sanction. This was not an award for damages, but a penalty against the city. Now watch this. Case dismissal. The family filed an amended lawsuit in 2007 seeking $400 million to $500 million in damages. However, the case was eventually dismissed without prejudice by Judge Jacqueline Nguyen in April 2010. Dismissed without prejudice meant the case could be refiled later, but the family's lawyer stated they dismissed it to avoid interfering with reinvigorated criminal investigation at the time. So who was investigating at the time? Wasn't it Greg Kading? So this brings us to this documentary you're about to watch now, yeah. Like the thing about life, yeah, is you can never ever predict what can happen or what will happen. You can sometimes the outcome of what you predict may be true, right? May be true. But then on the other hand, could it be true? You just never know. But when you're involving someone like, you know, Tupac Shakur or Biggie in this case, it's like these are well-known popular figures, yeah? And you're telling me their cases are unsolved. And then you're telling me that the timeline, there's so much, there's literally so much. It's like I don't know where to begin. But the book does go into it deeper, but you can get the link to that. The link to that will be in the description box. Sorry, in the pinned comments below. Oh snap. Snap. I didn't think about this. What is my password for this thing? Give me a second, people. I can't even go into it even if I wanted to. Let me see if I can do it. Anyway, okay, perfect. Send me that code. So bear with me, people. We're back. Bear with me, people. As I try to set this up, this might take me a bit longer than I would have liked. But yeah, like the point I'm trying to make is when it comes down to when it comes down to it, there's a lot of things that come into play when it comes to this. Hold on, I'm just trying to hold on. So I'm just trying to get the stuff up in regards to the documentary. You know how it goes sometimes. Is this the one I was watching? Okay, do you know what? There's two different versions. There's the clean version, then there's the dirty version. Hey yo, life is funny, man. Like life is funny. Okay, yeah, this is the one. Is it? Yeah, I think it's the one. Anyway, so yeah, man, it's mad. It's mad, yeah, because it's like you just never know. Let's go back to YouTube real quick. Because I want to see if it's also on YouTube, and I doubt that very much, and I've got to be careful. Actually, no. Let's do it this way. Internet Movie Database. All right. So, as you can see here, The inside story behind the Biggie and Tupac investigations is laid bare using police case files, taped confessions never before shown on film, and interviews with lead detective Greg Kading and other witnesses. There's a other documentary that we're gonna have to watch another react to another time, and we'll get into that. But for now, because this is before this, yeah, just to let you know. But yeah, man, if you don't hear it, it's because of copyright protection, all that. Get me? And knowing that Craig Caden is an actual former police and he has his own private investigation firm. Oh, I gotta be very careful. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So I'm not gonna insinuate certain things. If I say what I feel, I say what I feel. Yeah. But let's just get straight into it. Like I said, his book is in the description box below. Sorry, in the comment, the pinned comments. If it's not there yet, well, because I'm live in it, so it's like I have to sort out things. But like, yeah. But let's just keep it moving. No delay. Let's go. No delay, but there's adverts and it's just buffering. Why does anyway? I don't even know what's going on. Why is this like this? Unless hold on. Okay. This is mad. Hey, what's going on? Hey, listen, people, I don't know what's going on. I'll be the first to tell you, I do not know what's going on. Bruh. Let's try that again. Maybe I shouldn't just exit it and then, I don't know, interchange. Hmm, that's strange. Let me try this again. One more time. One last time. If it doesn't work, I must have see if it's on YouTube. Hmm. Hmm. Let me see something for a second, people. All right, people. I apologize for this delay. We'll get back straight into it in a minute. Okay, it's not what I thought. Oh, technology. There's supposed to be improvement in technology, but this is no improvement. There's no video downloaded, so what's going on? I thought I could download it on my other phone to see, but then it's like, oh man. Oh well. Let's hope this works. I know there's a lot of adverts on there. Yeah, allow it. Yeah, just letting you guys know. This is the third advert. Another advert. Hey, Jeff Bezos. We there, bruh. I get it. That's how they get paid, isn't it? So I understand. Okay. One more minute of the advert. I've just clocked it. The adverts have a timer in it. 58 seconds, 57, 56. Get me? We'll do a proper countdown. Now, here we are. It started. Oh, a minute. Okay, so there was footage that was shown in the documentary Sean Combs The Reckoning, and okay, maybe it's the hearing of it. But this was part of this. It's like what I'm seeing is it's in regards to the whole Biggie situation that went down. Yeah. Yeah, it's the same footage. It's the same footage. It's crazy, man. Yeah, I remember Gene Dill's voice. It's like they're literally driving to Trying to get driving somewhere. Welcome, Ben. Yeah, so we can hear that. Well, obviously, I know you guys can't hear it, but I'm hearing Dill's voice. Funny enough, that's the first time when I first saw this documentary, inside the yeah, you know what it is. But basically, when I first saw this documentary, can you imagine? Like, this was the first time I heard of Gene Dill. So, and what's even mad is knowing everything he talked about. Like, we will react to Gene Dill's version of events, yeah, because he has his own documentary, yeah. So we'll get into that in relation to Biggie, yeah. But let's just keep it moving. Let's go because of time. So basically, what's mad in this situation? They're saying this was between Tupac and Biggie. It was literally 6 months apart. Yeah, between those situations, and they're saying the fans, people are asking who, you know what I mean, who blamed Tupac. That sounds mad to say blamed. Anyway, yeah, you know the deal. What I'm trying to say, like who done it? Who done in regards to Biggie? Who done it? And so you're telling me 10 years later you have another investigation? Is that between those times you should already it should already been investigated and over and done with? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So there's something that's not adding up. Remember what I showed you earlier when I told you the timeline? I'm not saying Greg Kading is the one at fault here. I'm not saying that like this is just a thought. I'm just saying if you look at the timeline, there's some things that don't add up. But yeah, man, I'm just reacting, innit? What I'm saying. Let's go. Because here's the other thing. Just bear in mind the jurisdictions or the states that happen. In because Greg Kading, it's fair enough he's gonna be on a task force and he's investigating, that's fine. Yeah, that's his job. But Biggie's situation happened in LA. So yeah, he naturally would be part of the investigation team. Tupac's situation happened in Las Vegas. So no, that's it. The jurisdiction, I'm sure police departments in every state, every jurisdiction don't like when you come into their territory. They're like, well, I'm not gonna say what I want to say, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like they don't like you coming into the territory trying to solve a case for them, which I don't understand. If this correlates, it correlates. Anyway, so just bear that in mind. Anyway, let's keep it moving. Directed by Mike Dorsey, but the book was by Craig Kading. But the link is in the description and the pinned comments. Yeah, and obviously it features Craig Kading. It features Katie Cooper. All right, listen. Also features Reggie Wright Jr. So keep that name in mind. Yeah, like I said, we're doing a deep, thorough investigation based on the hold up. If I can pause it on time. Based on the book Rap, the untold story of the Biggie Smalls and Tupac Shakur investigations by Craig Kading. And the book was released in September 2011, and obviously the documentary released in 2015. And like I said, the situation in regards to Vanessa Wallace, Biggie's mom, she filed a lawsuit against Los Angeles Police Department, and she filed again, and yeah, she got 1.1 million lawsuit. I think the first one was a mistrial, and then she filed another one in 2007, and then I think that's where she got 1.1 million dollars. I can't remember verbatim, and then she sued again, and then in 2007, was it 2007? I can't remember the exact timeline. Or 2000. Either way, the case got dismissed because she was sued for over $400 million to $500 million, and yeah, the case got dismissed or whatever. So just bear that in mind, yeah, because there was investigation happening. So who's under the investigation? Greg Kading. Let's keep it moving. Okay, talking about what happened across studios. Now Greg Kading's talking. No, no, stop. Greg Kading, see? No, no, Greg Kading, I'm not having that. I'm not having that. You are you. I'm not having that. I'm not having that. You cannot tell me that that Tupac eventually found out that Puffy and Biggie had nothing to do with what happened in 1994. That is cap. That's worse cap than the game. That's worse cap than Fat Joe. That is cap. Like, stop the cap. Listen, it's a fact. All right, let's break this down further. Yeah, it's a fact that Tupac literally said, yeah, he literally, and the way they tried to frame it, they tried to say there was an East Coast West Coast war or beef or whatever the case may be. Like, it was never really that. Do you understand? It genuinely wasn't. Yeah, it just disputes between certain individuals with yes within that region, but also when you deep it Vibe magazine. Also, I think they put East Coast versus West Coast on the magazine cover, like if I remember clearly. So they kind of instigated that, but that's another day for another topic. But if you think about it, yeah, Tupac said that he blamed. He didn't necessarily blame, but he more or less said, Biggie, more or less, if you claim you're the king of New York, then tell me who did it. Also, he got robbed. He only got one that got robbed. I think there was something else that they failed to rob from him, and it's like so it made it seem like even further it was a setup. And someone else that he knew of, I think his name's Stretch. A year later, literally a year later, what happened to him? You do the maths, because he also was Biggie's friend as well. Listen, and he said he saw when he went up the elevator, he rolled a blunt. You know what I mean? Then he saw Puffy, he saw Andre Harrell, he saw Biggie. I think he said he saw Little Sean, and it looked like they saw a ghost. But he asked, "Where's my money?" Do you know why he was asking where's money? Because he was meant to do a feature for Little Sean. That's why he was going to Quad Studios. Do you understand? All right, let's keep it moving. So you're talking about the why he went to prison. Ironically, Haitian Jack is a friend of Puffy. All up in the videos, dancing. Come to if you know, you know. It's showing that clip. Okay, I think Sugar Knight has talked about an art of the dialogue, so we'll go to that. Okay, now they're talking about how Suge Knight came into contact with. Okay, so do you know what? This is where I this woman I don't catch her name, but she's an author of the pioneer of Tupac Shakur. It's funny how these people want to talk about Tupac Shakur and make money off his name and likeness. You know what I mean? And chat rubbish. Now look, um, I just want to correct what she said. All right, it's the fact that she's trying to implicate and say, oh, or even Craig Kading were trying to say, oh, well, because Tupac needed bail and basically that's why Suge Knight came into play. No, Interscope, yeah, was a record label he was in Tupac was originally signed to, and basically they refused to post bail. They refused. A lot of some of his friends were trying to raise funds for him to post bail, but I don't know the full details. We'll get into that for another day. But anyway, but Suge Knight was able to post bail. But to tell you the truth, it wasn't necessarily Suge Knight. It was actually Interscope. They just didn't want that Interscope, like that Jimmy Iovine didn't want to be the what do you call it? You know when if something was to go wrong, like he didn't want to get the blame. Do you understand? Just bear that in mind. So now this woman is now saying, oh, him signing to this record label mean that's where the fog persona came. Wrong. For one, he's always been rowdy. Do you know what I'm saying? Like rowdy way before then. Do you understand? Two, when you deep it, um, from I think it was in 1994, if memory serves me correctly in the timeline, he had the group Fog Life, which Biggie was supposed to be a part of. But they have a album. Um, they have Fog Life Volume One. They have an album out. Do you know what I'm saying? So let's put that into perspective. And the Fog image is not like what are you calling the Fog image? Like being boisterous, I can understand it. Being boisterous, rowdy is what it is. But to go on to say a fog, like what are you trying to imply? Do you know what I'm saying? Because Tupac never said he was a gangster, never said he was a thug, although he said he does represent thug life. But that was for the hate you give what was it? The hate you give little infants F's over everyone or something like that. I can't remember the full thing. Let's go. Okay, so Mark Anthony Bell got allegedly assaulted by Tupac and whoever and Suge Knight because they're trying to say because of the incident that happened after August, which it was. Okay, so now they're going into the diss records, yeah, and they're trying to say um Biggie released, not even trying, they are saying Biggie released Who Shot You and then um Tupac released Hit 'Em Up. But there was other diss tracks, yeah, that were actually on um All Eyes on Me album. If you listen, or not necessarily diss tracks per se, but you can tell that Tupac was talking on the situation. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So let's just keep that in mind. All right. Up and motherfucking clue. And you want to be down with Bad Boy, then F you too. Okay, now let me to Trayvon Lane. Okay, this keeps on buffering. This generally keeps on buffering. I don't know if we should come back to this another time because I don't. It just keeps on buffering, and it's annoying. Um, so basically, to cut a long story short, what they're saying is because of the incident that happened with Sean Combs' friend or whatever, or associate or whatever, they're now saying because of that retaliation, because they're trying to say this is how they're framing it. This sounds mad, but this is literally how they're framing it, and I can see where they are going with this. They're trying to frame it as because of the talk or the taunt from Suge Knight at the Source Awards, where he's saying you don't want anyone being all over your records and all over your videos, dancing, come to, you know what I mean? But one could argue that might not be about Diddy. You know what I mean? It might not be about him. It could be applied to Jermaine Dupri at that time. If you know, you know. But Sean Combs, aka Diddy, he's the one who took it upon himself to say, "Oh, that was about me." Do you see how much of a big ego this guy has? All right, cool, whatever. Humans are allowed to have ego now and again. It is what it is. Yeah, this is hip hop. Cool. Now, um, that aside, when they in our party in Atlanta, again, ironically, happened to be Jermaine Dupri, something to do with Jermaine Dupri. The incident happened where Jake got, do you know what I mean? That situation, we lost his life, unfortunately. Now, and that was mentioned in the other the Sean Combs the record documentary. I know this is a lot, but stay focused. Follow me. Stay focused. So now they're saying that because Now that was in August, right? Now they're saying because of Jake being associated with Suge Knight, they're saying, oh, that must mean Suge Knight and his crew may want to have retaliation towards Bad Boy. Cool. Fair enough. Understandable way they will come to that conclusion. Now, so the situation happens in this December that happens to someone from Bad Boy Records, apparently. Yeah. Now, you move forward to the next situation where there's another incident that took place. You understand? In I think June '96, yeah, where they're trying to say Trayvon Lane and the rest of the mob Barus were in Lakewood Mall, and they haven't said it so far, but I know where they're heading with this. They're trying to say that Trayvon Lane's chain got robbed or snatched or something like that by Orlando Anderson. I know where they're heading with this. Like I literally know where they're heading with this, right? And then they're going to say Orlando Anderson, well, Trayvon Lane saw Orlando Anderson at in Las Vegas, MGM Grand, and whispered to Tupac and said, "That's that guy." Well, not verbatim, that's that guy. And then Tupac went over to, you know what I mean? And then they want to, like, do you see the pattern? Do you see the pattern? That's all I'm trying to say. It's easy for narratives to be pushed. This is a narrative that I can clearly see being pushed, only because I know about other information. But let's keep it moving. Also, according to one confidential informant, do you know who that is? Hold on. We got to read that affidavit or whatever it's called. Yeah. According to one confidential informant, Greg Kading says, yeah. Remember, I said keep the mind Reggie Wright Jr. in name in focus. Yeah, just keep that in mind because he is the one that has been instigating that. He's the one. He is the lead for that information. Yeah, this is buffering bad. They even say alleged. It's not like it's a fact. All right, so that's Craig Kane saying, according to one confidential informant, right? Now, let's assume we don't know the person's name, but I feel like I know it's Reggie Wright Jr. I just know based on it. Like I said, we'll do thorough investigation, but the problem is my issue with these type of things is if you don't open your mind and open your ears to this, you never know. You not even never know. You will fall easy for narratives that are being pushed. And I'll just say this: there's a reason why I'm saying it's Reggie Wright Jr. and we'll get into that much later on. Not today, but much later on. You know what I mean? But he is in this documentary. But there's, you know what I mean? Suge Knight has spoken on it. Delray Richardson has spoken on it. There's other people that has spoken on it. Yeah, but we'll break it down further. Yeah, but basically it says here. So if they blanked out names, yeah, advised that after the incident in Las Vegas, they blanked out the person's name, attended gang meeting held at Luenda's Park in City of Compton. During this meeting, Trevon Lang, it says Lang, yeah, as an individual known only as Money, told blank like the name, and several other Mob Piru gang members, and that Keefe D, see the name Keefe D is brought up, a Southside Crip gang member, was one of the individuals involved in the fight that took place in MGM Grand Hotel. Hang on. Keefe D wasn't there. Unless talking about another Keefe D. Like Keefe D wasn't there when his nephew, Orlando Anderson, was getting stomped out. He wasn't there. Like he literally wasn't there. But anyway, let's keep it moving. Lang also advised the blanked out the name. Okay, whoa, missed out something. Was one of the individual in the fight that took place at the MGM Grand Hotel that Keefe after the Tyson Sheldon fight. Lang also advised, and they blanked at the name, and that the others, and they blanked at the name, feels that the Shakur was the intended target of because blanked out the name. So I believe that Shakur was the one responsible for instigating the fight. But someone whispered to him, why would he know someone took the chain? Where would he have known? And then Tupac is one of those individuals, yeah, wherever he is, yeah, he's going to literally mention it. Like he's going to say, this person took this chain and we're gonna do this. Do you know what I mean? Like he will open his big mouth, pause, no Diddy. Like, you know what I'm saying? He will say something. It will be on record, like he literally would be on record around that time. You're talking about from June or July, whenever the incident took place, yeah, till September. Tupac definitely has been recording music in between those times, and you're telling me there's no music out there where he mentions anything like that. You understand what I'm trying to say? Narratives are being pushed. What's this informant talking about? Maybe anyway, I've got to say, maybe they have their own agenda. But why? Yeah. Now, where was he? Was responsible for the instigating. So basically, instigating the fight that took place prior to the incident. Now, here's the other thing. The next paragraph. They planned out the name again. Advised that words on the street is that Sean Puffy Combs of New York-based Bad Boy Entertainment had offered up to $5,000 to any Crip gang member who can physically remove their medallion from the DRR employee. So the DRR medallion from any DRR employee. Now, was Trayvon Lane a DRR employee, or was he just a friend or a close associate of Suge Knight? These are the questions we have to ask. And also, you look at the names here. Is it Trayvon Lane or is it Trevon Lang? Is it Keefe D? As in Keith? Like, do you know what I'm saying? And how do you? And if you're a confidential informant, I don't know how it works, but wouldn't you want to inform them of their real names if you could get their real names? Because then you're actually helping with the investigation, because that's what confidential informants, as far as I'm aware, that's what they do. Do you understand? And I could be wrong in this. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. But something don't add up. To me, this, like, irrespective of me thinking this is what's his name? Reggie Wright Jr. Like, although I'm assuming that, and let me not assume it's him. Let's just take it as pure fact. Yeah, not fact, but like, let's look at it for what it is. That looks like that's an agenda. Just based on the fact that we know Tupac likes to talk or rap. What should I say? But he would literally mention it. You know what I mean? Let's keep it moving on. Let's go. You see, they even mentioned Tupac recorded. They also they also mentioned that Tupac recorded a song for Tyson, Mike Tyson. Yeah, he recorded a song for Mike Tyson and the song's called "Let's Get It On." So now, when you deep it, and he's walking into this, do you know what I mean? He's playing. They're playing a song. So if let's think about it, like logically, yeah, it's Tupac. Like he would, I'm guarantee you, yeah, I guarantee you, he would have mentioned about the incident that time. You understand? He would mention that his friend or someone from the label thing got took and we're gonna get payback. Like he would mention it verbatim. Like although I want to say he's not lyrical, like, well, we know he is lyrical, but like he doesn't do the triple entendres and double entendres and all that stuff there, like the way we think. You know what I mean? Which is nothing wrong with that because I like lyricists that have triple and double and quadruple entendres. I like that. However, the point is with this situation, Tupac, I know he 100% would have said something. He would have said payback is coming to those who stole that chain. You know what I mean? All right. This all right. This might take me longer than I'm going to actually intended to. So there might be like a part two to these type of situations. I'm not going to lie to you, which is fine by me because, hey, I like to do content. All right, but um, we're going to keep on moving from now, and we're going to just read it because you know what it is. I want to get out all my thoughts on everything I see in this documentary, and then we're going to match it with what Craig Kading is saying in this documentary, and then also what he's saying in the Sean Combs The Reckoning documentary. Yeah, because you have to understand that when narrative, I'm not saying that the Sean Combs Reckoning documentary is painting a narrative or all that stuff. I'm not even saying that. We want to find out the real truth of what happened to Tupac and Biggie, right? And yes, it may look like it insinuates that Diddy was involved, but how and why? Where does that come into connection in regards to Tupac, and where does that come into connection in regards to Biggie? All right, they kind of alluded to it in the Sean Combs directing the documentary, but they didn't really go too much into detail. This is why this is important. Do you understand? Yeah, you can say I recorded a song saying about $1 million hit, blah blah blah. Do you know what I mean? But there's more to it. Do you know what I mean? There's literally more to it. Um. Anyway, so yeah. So now this text says here. I think it's they put once the source arrived in Las Vegas, source and several other DRR employees and mob Baru gang members attended a party in the bar area of the MGM Grand Hotel. This was prior to the fight. Source advised that several well-known DRR employees were at the party, including Suge Knight, Mob James, Alton McDonald, Tupac Shakur, Kevin Woods, Trevon. Is it Trayvon or Trevon? Which one is it now? And other sources further advised that while at the party, the source observed Knight, Mob James, McDonald, and one of the other members of the outlaws carrying firearms. Okay. Time out. Um, we have to figure this out. Okay, so how do you know someone's carrying a firearm? How do you know one of the outlaws is carrying a firearm? Now, this is where we have to do another deep dive investigation. We have to ask which outlaws was there, who was carrying and were they carrying a firearm? Did they confirm this that they were carrying a firearm, and um would they deny it? Would they confirm it? right? Do you understand? Let's be honest. We don't know. But let's go by what it says here. So it says, at the conclusion of the party, the group then left the bar area of the hotel and proceeded towards the area where the fight was taking place. During the fight, the source observed a shoving incident that involved Knight, McDonald, and several unknown Crip gang members from Los Angeles. So who's the source? Who is the source? Who is the source? Is he? Is it the criminal? The informant? Okay, if it's the informant, just say the informant. But anyway, it says here, um, the source overheard one of the Crip gang members tell Knight that he thought that he, as in Knight, thought he was untouchable. Knight responded by telling the Crips that he was untouchable. One of the Crip members then responded by saying, "You can be touched." At the conclusion of wait. Time out. This source. So you're telling me they witnessed all of that. They heard all of that. So that must mean they are one of the key piece of witnesses when it comes down to what happened with Tupac. Basically, who is the source? Reveal yourself. All right, fair enough. Protection, blah blah blah. No, but reveal yourself. Because how do you know this information? How do you remember everything that was said? Or are you involved but not involved? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Where you are part of one of the either parties and you're just not really involved, but you're involved somewhere because of whatever. Or was you just an innocent bystander at MGN Grand or whatever? These are questions that need to be asked. Do you understand? Because what to me this doesn't make sense. How would you? Does it make sense to you? Leave your answer in the comment section below. At the conclusion of this boxing match, Knight and his entourage left the MGM Grand Hotel to attend several post-fight parties that were taking place at several different hotels and casinos in Las Vegas area. Source then stated that sometime between 10 p.m. and 11 p.m., Knight's entourage, which included between 10 and 12 vehicles, left one of the post-night parties en route to, doesn't say the rest there, but okay. So now I have a question. How do you know this information? Who's the source? I want to see if I can find paperwork to the full-on investigation, and we can get into that. Like, and this probably is a wise choice for me to do a part two, like in 10 minutes. Well, not in 10 minutes, but yeah, because I'm just trying to figure out. Yeah, there's a lot of details that are missing. One detail is who is the source. One could argue say it's Reggie Wright Jr. because how do you know about the movement of Suge Knight? How do you know it was between 10 p.m. and 11 p.m.? Were you watching your watch? Anyway, so now they're showing footage of the MGM Grand. Hey, yo, it's exactly what. Wait. Time out. It's exactly what Josh Johnson was saying about CCTV footage back then. Like, it's blurry. You can't really see things clearly. Like, hey, yo, that's funny. It's actually genuinely true. You can't really see things clearly. But all I can see is a bunch of people, a bunch of different people. You can't tell who's who. You know what I mean? It's like asking, it's like playing Where's Wally, or in America you call it Where's Waldo. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, Okay, now they've sort of, I feel like they highlighted the Orlando Anderson, and maybe they did that because they felt because of what he was wearing, it's easily spottable. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, it is Trevor. Okay, so Orlando, Baby Lane, Anderson, and Trevor Lane. Okay, now this is where the story becomes. This is where the story becomes interesting. Yeah, because like like you see, let me take this off. Like you see when it comes down to because I'm more or less like done for today, so to speak. Like you see when it comes down to the incident, right? I'm sorry, yeah. Greg Kading is basically alluding to the fact, and obviously he can only go based on the information that he's been given. And who's giving him the information? The source. Who is the source? It's an end of, it looked like it's clearly a federal, no, not federal, but he's an informant. But who is this an informant? Because they're using the motive of their, hold on, they're moving, they're moving, they're using the motive, hang on. So they're using the motive of the situation to do with the chain being stolen. Yeah, and so that happened in July or June. Yeah, half around July. So like that's the motive. So Trayvon Lane happened to be near Tupac, and he whispered in Tupac's ear. What did he whisper? Why did Tupac storm off that way? But then I've heard Suge Knight say, like this is years later, that he's never given Trayvon Lane a chain in the first place. But we can get into that in another day because maybe I misheard and I can't remember verbatim, but we will get into that. I think it's I think the way I'm gonna break down these documentaries or this documentary is just try and do this in parts. So when I say in parts, but it's like we have to look at it from understanding the key individuals that we know of, right? So hang on. So yeah, so basically the situation becomes, when it comes down to the the key individuals. Yeah, you have Tupac, yeah, obviously, but does that mean that it's to do with that? They tried to say Keefe D was there as well, like when his nephew was getting stomped out. But then it's like he wasn't there, was he? But so when it comes down to it, it's like the reality is, okay, Suge Knight was there. Okay, we know that. But then my question will always remain: what did Trayvon Lane? No, is it Trayvon Lane? The irony of the names. You got Orlando Anderson. His nickname is Baby Lane. You got the irony is you got Baby Lane, who is Orlando Anderson. Then you got Trayvon Lane. It's like, and obviously they're from two different sides, but it seems to me, I could be wrong, but I feel like they're playing both sides. Like that, I feel like they're playing both sides. At this point, they're playing both sides. There's there's something. Where is Trayvon Lane now? Everyone, not everyone. The from what it seemed like, Craig Kading in the other in documentary, the Reckoning documentary, it almost seemed like he's trying to say only two individuals remain from that incident. That, do you know what I mean? So only two incidents, only two main people remain, which is probably, I think, Diddy and Keefe D. Really? But then it's like, if that's the case, and you say you solved the case because he went on other platforms to say he solved the case, then how comes it's still unsolved? Let's can someone answer that question? If Greg Kading's gone on different platforms to say that he solved the Tupac case, how comes it's still unsolved? Does it make sense? It don't make sense to me. And like I said, where's Trayvon Lane? Where is he? Like, I'm just a genuine question. Where is he? Why is he hiding? What, is he scared because he felt that it feels like the narrative is being pushed that he is the one that told Tupac, and then he kind of is the reason why Tupac is that it? But if you're innocent of the situation, surely you can come out and just tell your side of the story, tell your truth, unless you got something to hide. Look, even Keefe D's been talking. Deanna, like, I don't know, like, maybe I'm just overthinking, and I've got questions. So it's like, if Orlando Anderson is Keefe D's nephew, and Orlando Anderson was arrested, this is the other thing. We'll get to this. I know it's much later on, but he was arrested at one point. But it's like, he was never convicted. There's some tampering going on somewhere. That's what it looks like. Because how can you now have Keefe D now, rightfully so, if he's now trying to say Diddy's name 77 times? There's a lot that needs to be. There's a lot of things that need to be unfolded. But anyway, listen, we're gonna come back to this another day. We're gonna get back to another part. We will carry on from where we left off, because yeah, there's a lot to deal with here. Yeah. But anyway, like, follow, share for more. Yeah.